Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sporting Perspective. And now there were two in the 2026 World Cup, and we got two wonderful, 1 and 2 in the world. So, in the end, I mean, there's nothing better than that. Argentina, South American champion. My goodness, Spain, the European champion. So, got a little bit of the whole world involved in this, which is fantastic. James, David, thank you so much for coming back. And before we jump into that final, I think we'll do a little bit of recap first, talking about the two matches that led up to this. The first one, Spain taking down France 2-0 on Tuesday in Dallas. I'm going to just kick it off to you guys. What was your takeaway from that game? Because they shut down France like no one else has this tournament.
Yeah, I guess the defense wins championships. We definitely, not just us, I think a lot of people overlooked Spain a little too much. Not that they're not a good team. I think people were giving them credit, but not enough credit to win the game. People look at France, people look at Mbappe, people look at the speed and athleticism they have, and just thought they'd somehow figure out a way to win that game. But I mean, it was pretty much a Spain masterclass. That was the most Spanish way I think I've ever seen them play. They controlled possession. They took away like shot opportunities. I don't think France had a shot on goal for most of the first half. They had a flurry at the end where they were trying to make a comeback when they were down 2-0, 2-0. But yeah, they handled France just like they did in the was it the Euros 2 years ago where they won and beat France. So yeah, I mean myself included. I don't want to say I didn't give any chance to Spain, but I was definitely on the France will win this train.
Might be easy to look back now and look at all the evidence that we perhaps should have seen before, naming all the records, setting the time for fewest goals allowed. There were just so many records they were setting that we couldn't wrap our head around the fact that France could be beaten. I don't know. They were so impressive. They have so much offensive talent. All the Ballon d'Ors on that team. I just assumed they would hit some shot that's indefensible, that no goalie could touch. That it didn't matter how well Spain played, but they just completely dominated them. And James, it wasn't even just the first half. I believe it was the 82nd minute for France's first shot on goal.
Was that it? Oh my god!
Which maybe a tad deceiving. A shot that goes right over the bar is not a shot on goal. So I mean, France certainly had some opportunities. I wouldn't say they didn't. I think people are going to look back. People still a little critical of the Yamal penalty that certainly changed the game. But the way Spain played, people are not talking about that penalty the way they have some others in this tournament, because it just felt like Spain was inevitable. They didn't just coast on that goal, and as much as an early goal is a huge factor in the way the game plays out, it just felt like Spain was better from start to finish. I don't think there was any question that was like the most dominant performance of the whole tournament.
Watch that. Watch the replay of the second goal by Pedro Porro. The France defense just—it's like they fell asleep. No one moves. No one. Whoever was supposed to mark Porro just like stopped. It was very strange, but that goes to show like that was the kind of at least the game plan I saw from either side. You had a team that's, like you said, David, like super athletic. Oh, they're gonna win. Oh, they're gonna have tons of shots on goal, and then Spain, who just they just poke. They're like a gnat. They're just like, we're gonna control the ball. We're gonna we're just gonna break you down.
I think Cucurella is that man.
Cucurella's in there.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. You guys have kind of covered it pretty well there. But yeah, there's something about a team that doesn't know how to lose, and Spain doesn't know how to lose. They haven't lost a match in almost 2.5 years. It's pretty crazy. I believe if they win this next match in the World Cup, obviously win the World Cup, that's awesome. But they also will tie the longest winning streak of all time. So I mean, they're quietly. It's weird to say they're quietly breaking records out here, and kind of flying under the radar doing it. They're just a complete team in a tournament that we've been talking about the stars and how they've taken over, and it's great to see them performing so well. Spain's just a bunch of guys that are all just really good, and sure, we got a couple headliner names and a couple guys that may be greats down the line, but right now it just feels like a good constructed team that is like just working as a unit, and we can see that on the defensive front. I don't know exactly what the number is, but I know going into the Belgium game, which is a couple rounds back now, they had surrendered the least amount of shots in the whole tournament. They're definitely still really low down there. But yeah, I mean, it's just a really well constructed team. Defense wins championships. It's going to be fascinating to see the best player in the world going up against this defense.
Spain is super young too.
I was also shocked to hear this is only Spain's second semifinal in a World Cup ever, which doesn't seem right, but I guess they've made the most of it.
Which then leads to them. It's weird that this will be Spain's second final, and they won it in what 2010, 2010.
They won in 2010 and beat the Netherlands that year. But yeah, that was their first final ever. As you said,
so
second semifinal. It just shows you how hard this tournament is, and in certain cases, just how ungrateful it can be at times of just like not getting the ball to bounce your way. I guess off of that, since I was mentioning Argentina, we'll jump over to, if you guys actually, do you have anything else to say about Tuesday's game, or should we jump over to Wednesday?
We can jump over. I think it's insane how you talked about stars of the future for Spain, which goes to show that they have so many young dudes that this team could be around for like minimum 2 more World Cups.
Yeah. So let's jump over to Wednesday's match. Argentina, flair for the dramatic, did the same thing that they've kind of done all tournament, coming back from behind, scoring goals late again in the 85th minute and then the 91st minute to take the victory over England. I guess the big debate off of this one, did Argentina win it or did England lose it? What were you guys' takeaway from this match as Argentina has clinched their 7th trip to the World Cup final? That's the second most all time.
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I was a little skeptical when Thomas Tuchel decided to go to go to 5 backs in defense, because we saw what that led to. It led to Argentina just time after time after time getting opportunities off the bar or off the sidebar. I mean, they just were pouring shots on goal until finally Enzo Fernandez had a ridiculous curling shot into the left corner, and then I can never say his first name, whatever, Martinez, then like headed that one goal in. But I don't think Tuchel made the wrong move in parking the bus. I think he just did it way too early. Like, you're up 1-0 with plenty of time left. That should be what you're doing in like the last 5-10 minutes, not 20 minutes. Not 20 minutes. I mean, he subbed off multiple offensive guys for defenders, and then it obviously ended up screwing them in the end when they were down 2-1 and didn't have many guys. I mean, Dan Byrne, one of the center backs, was like way up front trying to just like head a ball in the last couple minutes of the game. So I'd say it was a little. I mean, like you said, Sean, Argentina's got that flair for the dramatic. We've seen it all tournament. They seem to just turn it on when they're like, oh crap, like we got to go. And they have, I don't know whether that's little man Messi in his little turbo mode or what it is. I don't know. They just play better when they're down.
I thought I saw a lot of flashbacks in that game to the way the Mexico game went, where I really thought Argentina was kind of pushing them around a little bit, and England just has a way of, maybe it's just on the calendar. Maybe they're best in that way, where they make the most of their opportunities, and then it just seems like they sit back. That seems to be their entire strategy. And you can say that they were down a man versus Mexico when they decided to sit back, and to me it was the same exact thing. We just saw that Argentina has significantly more quality than the Mexican attack did, and they got through that Mexican game very luckily, still in my opinion. But I was pretty shocked to see them really sit back with only a 1-goal lead. But the way they scored that goal just really reminded me of how they scored against Mexico, where it just felt like when Mexico was pushing, the way Argentina was kind of pushing them, and then they just kind of get a goal out of nothing, and then they just totally change their strategy, and I don't really understand it. I think Argentina did a really good job of frustrating a lot of the stars with England. I don't think Bellingham was given a ton of space. To me, he was a little bit invisible this game, which I was pretty surprised by. I don't know. Kane has been a little frustrating to me, I think, to watch. I just don't feel like I don't know if they just haven't. Maybe teams have just been really focusing on him, and we just are expecting someone else to show up who hasn't. I think Ollie Gordon's been really impressive, but we have to talk about Argentina. I feel like I've personally been doubting them every match. I am unimpressed with what looks like a half hour of effort versus 65, 70 minutes of a team that I don't recognize. And all of a sudden, this doesn't seem like a coincidence anymore. This feels like a pattern, and they close out games better than anybody else does. They just hammer you. They had so many opportunities to score in that last half hour of that game. It was relentless. Honestly, it felt inevitable, and you could just feel the entire tide of the game. All of the fans, it feels like it's going to happen. And even just looking ahead to Spain, I'm going to think twice picking Spain, even though that's where my brain everybody's brain is going. Spain were favorites even before this match was over, based on whoever was going to get out of this, the way that they dominated France. But I don't know. I think you're a little bit foolish if you're not at least thinking real hard about Argentina.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. You guys covered it pretty nicely right there. But the one name that I don't think came up in the last few minutes, which I will now throw in there. Messi is such a big piece of this Argentina team. It's incredible what he's doing, and he obviously is not doing it under the radar. But it's LeBron James on the pitch. Now he has the most goals in FIFA history and the most assists in FIFA history, as he assisted on both goals today. It's just incredible that everyone knows the ball is going to go through him, and it doesn't. He's still
and breaking news: Lionel Messi. This is how stupid of updates I get on my phone. Lionel Messi just won the ESPY for best soccer player.
Wow,
nice. But everything goes through him, and it just doesn't seem to matter. It's going to be fascinating to see a Spain defense go up against him and see how that plays out, because it's potentially one of the better defenses we've seen in the past decade. First, obviously, one of the best players. A lot of people say the best player in football history. It's going to be fascinating to see what defense is going to get thrown at him and how he's going to counter that. I don't have too much out to add. Argentina, flair for the dramatic. It's been fascinating to watch, and it's just a story of how will they do it next.
I will say I have a lot of respect for Messi, because in a sport where I know you're taught to go down for fouls, a lot of people who aren't big soccer fans, big football fans, don't like the flopping nature. Messi's a tank for a little dude. He runs, and it's been his whole career. He just bounces off dudes, and he only goes down when he needs to. And he always draws a foul when he does go down, for the most part. But he takes like 5 or 6 hits before he goes down.
Yeah.
and I respect that. I also think that Argentinian team is like they're kind of playing Messi style of football in the sense of like you watch if you just watch Messi, if there's a camera on just Messi, it's something weird. Like 75 to 80% of the time, he's just walking around, and then he has his little darts of movement, and I feel like that's how that team is playing. It's like for Messi, he makes his runs when he needs to. This team is like walking for the first like 65 minutes of the game, and then make their dart at the end of the game and close it out.
I was thinking a lot about you referring to Messi as LeBron James, and it's really a perfect comp when you're talking about them playing Spain, where you have this young Spanish team with surely a lot of Barcelona players that I don't know if there's anybody left on that team who had any overlap with Messi's time there. But a lot of these kids growing up watching La Liga probably grew up their whole lives watching Messi. That's the whole Spanish coaching staff growing up, for whatever team they were on, probably trying to stop Messi. If there's any team that has insight into the way he plays, if they anybody who thinks they can shut him down, it's going to be these guys. So I think there's going to be an even greater level of reverence for Messi, during this game. So I think that's a really interesting part to consider for this matchup.
Is he the GOAT if he wins another? I mean, he's already arguably the GOAT. One more World Cup, is it like undisputed?
Like the way he's played in this tournament, it's regardless of this result, he's already cemented it, in my opinion, to do it at this level. I think people thought he was done a few years ago, and just the fact that he can just produce this out of nothing. I mean, he's I don't know. I just at this point, he's how is he still doing it? He's not even the competition he's playing with at the club level is not elite. Everybody knows that, but he still is doing this to every single player. He is different, and I don't know who can you possibly compare him to as the GOAT of any other sport. If you just picked three professional soccer players, one of them is Messi, and you said to someone who doesn't know sports, point to the one that you think is the greatest of all time. Nobody's ever going to pick Messi. He's like the most unlikely greatest of all time looking athlete I think that exists. It's everything about him is remarkable.
Yeah, I mean you go through like LeBron and MJ, obviously athleticism. Michael Phelps, like any sport, you go to Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, like there's like something exceptional. Not saying Messi doesn't have something exceptional, but like he's not the fastest guy, he's not the strongest guy, he's not the tallest guy. Obviously he's extremely skilled with his feet. But like I would say, he's not, he's not a Neymar, he's not a Brazilian flair dribbler. He's almost like if I had to compare him to someone, the first person I think of is like Steve Nash. Just like small dude, does all the little intangibles and worked his ass off to get to where he is. Steve Nash, you put Michael Jordan, LeBron, Durant, Steve Nash, and just be like, okay, four of these guys. I don't even know how you pose a question like that. Because obviously Steve Nash is not the best, but like you put Durant, LeBron, and MJ up against Nash, and people are like, "Oh, that guy, he can't play with those guys. He's not."
I think Steph Curry is the right comp, right? A guy who's
who
Steph Curry, who's maybe 6'2", who's pretty much the greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah.
And how do you explain it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable what he does on the field and how he continues to play at the age of 39, and he's the best player on the pitch, and no one can really argue it. And, we're even now. I know me and James were talking a month ago. When we were doing the World Cup preview show, it was kind of like what Messi are we gonna get? We were kind of like, is he there just kind of more of a send off? Cool, I'm great. Let's see what we can do. But we kind of both took Argentina as Yeah, they're older. We don't think we'll make the finals because Messi's on kind of his last legs, and he's been playing in MLS and all that jazz. There's now legit conversations that are happening around the soccer world where they're saying, yeah, Messi may come back for 2030 because it's their first match is going to be in Argentina, and this may not be the last we see Messi. It's crazy to say, but it's crazy to say he was playing in this World Cup. And like these primo freak athletes that he is, and all they have the best doctors in the world. He may focus on being a reserve on that roster just to play in Argentina in the World Cup for one time. So this may not be the last time we ever see him.
He might do what analysts. I saw something where people were talking about pre-tournament, saying that he might just be a super sub. Just bring Messi on in the 75th minute of each game and let him see what he can do. And obviously maybe some of the group stage games I don't know off the top of my hand, but for the most part he's played like every single minute of every game.
Yeah. But like we're seeing it especially more and more these days. Last 5 years we saw Brady. Obviously, football and football are not the same, but Brady plays till he's 45. LeBron James is going to be 42 this year. So guys are figuring out to, make their bodies work well into their early to mid 40s. These superstars, and maybe he's just that freak that he's taken so well care of his body and picking and choosing when he needs to go 100. Maybe this isn't the end of him. Maybe we are going to see more after this. And the ticket prices, which I'll get into here in a second, don't indicate that, because I think the cheapest ticket price at this point for the final is $9,000. So it's going to be the most expensive low ticket price, I guess, in the history of sports.
Have fun spending $9,000 to sit outside and sweat your ass off.
Local
Yeah,
time.
that was. I still don't think that was the best choice. I guess we could just say, where do you think the final should be? I said it should have been in LA, but that's me.
Yeah, they played Dallas and Atlanta for the semis indoor. Why not finish it off in LA? Which, from what I heard on some of the pregame and other podcasts and shows I listened to, fans around the world adored the LA stadium.
Yeah,
just thought it was incredible. Just a remarkably well put together, well built stadium.
Yeah.
$9,000 to go to New Jersey. Soak it in.
Yeah, I saw multiple reports. The New Jersey stadium got rated in the bottom three of the stadiums, and the other two, they kind of made sense. Kansas City was in the bottom three, but they got it more for being just a soccer hub. The stadium didn't really do much, and then the other one was, I heard, Toronto. It just wasn't as great, but it's like a smaller stadium, and it just didn't fit as much the atmosphere. But but New Jersey's was like in the bottom three. It's like, why didn't you just throw it in the dome? Dallas, LA, something in great weather. Now we're going to be in a heat wave. It's going to be a joy. Well, before we get into the two matches, I'm going to pose you guys a couple questions really fast. We don't have to go too deep into it, but since we are having the wonderful Messi talk, I guess we'll do a little bit more rapid fire here. We're going to get some awards happening here after these games. So let's just kind of give your feeling of who you think deserves it, who you think is going to win it. So we'll just start with Golden Ball. Who's the first guy that comes to mind? Who do you think is going to win it?
Messi, I guess.
I think it's so tough. I really don't want to see that happen if Argentina goes out there and gets clobbered. But it's hard to argue that Messi hasn't deserved it, no matter the result. And I could see that happening either way.
He assisted, I guess. When he's not scoring, he's just setting up dudes for goals, too.
Yeah, I'm going to go Messi, too. And if he were to win it, it would be the third time in 4 years that he wins the award. Going down, Golden Boot, right now, it's tied. The big question is Will France play their players? We know Messi's playing in the championship, but will France play their players? Who do you think ends up winning the Golden Boot?
I'm gonna go Messi again, just because it's a game that matters, and I was a betting man. I'd put money on Messi because I know for a fact he's playing. I don't know if Mbappe will play.
I think it'll probably be Mbappe just because he's not playing Spain.
That's kind of how I feel. I feel like actually France is going to go out and play that game. I think England does too, just because it is such a rivalry. And I think it, even though it doesn't, prove the overall champion, I think for more bragging rights, world seeding, things like that, momentum, I actually think these two teams actually go out and play. At least the first half they play. I know it's in Miami, so it's going to be hot as hell. So they may be like, "All right, get me out of here. I'm done." But I'm going to take Mbappe. I think he actually puts one in the first 45, and he may just play half. But I don't know if Argentina's going to score. That's my biggest fear with how good Spain is.
It's also Didier Deschamps, like his last game coaching France. So I just thought about that right now. So maybe the French players will want to put on a show for their coach before he leaves, and good old Mr. Headbutt Zinedine Zidane takes over.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. One last. Actually, I'll ask two more really quick. Golden Glove.
Simone, I guess. Unai Simone, the Spanish goalie.
I think he probably wins it. I think Pickford has been my favorite goalie to watch this tournament for England, but it's hard to argue with the resume there of Simone.
Just too many shutouts.
It's too many shutouts. I agree with that one. And then
clean sheets, Sean. We have to say this is a soccer podcast. Clean sheets, shutouts.
By the way, now that you say that, I know we praise the U.S. Fox broadcasting. I'm now going to go backwards on it. The amount of things they say that are wrong, it's a match, not a game. I hear game all the time. It's match. It's not a field.
Who's Rebecca Lowe, like them?
Yeah, they all do it. like what's going
Zlatan?
on? Not Zlatan. No, Zlatan, that would be
Play to that American audience.
Yeah, they're definitely playing to the Americans. I've been hearing some stuff on the radio, too, and I'm like, yeah, that's wrong. That's
the big game.
Yeah. Just so many
the
things.
Field instead of the pitch.
Yeah. It's just funny to hear some of those are just like, that's not right. Last question before we get into the two matchups. Best young player. I know there's been a lot of great young talent throughout this tournament, but best young player.
The center back for Spain, Pau, whatever his name is. I can't think of his name. He's on Barcelona. David, I'll let you go.
I'm not sure he qualifies, but I was going to go with, I think his name is Anthony Gordon for England. I think he's 25 maybe, so that might age him out from the young players. But as someone who did not watch him a ton this year, and I know he's going to, I think, Barcelona for a large transfer fee, but he's been one of those guys that every time he plays, I just notice how well he does. So for me, he's been, but we're talking about the 19-year-olds. Then yes, it's the center back for Spain is playing at a ridiculous level.
I would also put, I know only one person can win, but the transfer fee we saw for Elliot Anderson going from Nottingham Forest to Man City, he's now the most expensive English player in transfer money history. He's also been really him and Declan Rice. I thought were really good in the midfield all tournament. I didn't know much about Elliot Anderson because as an Arsenal supporter, other than maybe watching when we play Nottingham Forest, I can't say I tune into too many Nottingham Forest games, but he was really, really good today. He was one of the only guy, not only guys, but one of the guys who I thought was putting it all out on the line for England. When you said Jude Bellingham was kind of non-existent, Kane, Kane hasn't really been existent in the last two games. Elliot Anderson, I thought was doing a lot, but it takes a lot to really get something out of like a defensive box to box midfielder because so many people who don't know the game of soccer focus on just like attacking and cool dribbling skills and goals and like there's so much more to it like you know connecting passes, uh, taking the ball away without fouling. Ellie Anderson, he's gonna be really good, and I think he does qualify. I want to say he's like 21.
21 under. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into these two matches. We won't spend too much on this first one happening on Saturday. France taking on England in the bronze medal game. There's still stuff to play for. This is a rivalry, as we said. Mbappe is still in the race for the Golden Boot. Their manager managing their last time. They were embarrassed not scoring a goal against Spain, and not really getting a shot, as David said, until well into the second half. Who do you got in this Miami heat wave grossness for a bronze medal win?
I'll just keep it short and sweet. I think France, because even if they do play their backups, I think their backups are way better and deeper than if what England has on their bench. And I think they try to win it for Deschamps as his last game out before he leaves.
I actually think England is a little bit deeper of a team, in my opinion. So if it does turn into a battle of substitutes in the second half, I kind of like England to win a tight one. But starters are out there. If they're playing hard, I think France could win by a 2-goal margin.
I'm going to take France. I just think England is just deflated after this one. Give me France. I think more offense, a little bit more to play for. I think that's all I got.
The rest of the country, or the rest of the country, the rest of the world too has such a different mindset than like us Americans. I feel like the American mindset is like third place game, like who cares? But like there's so much pride. I feel like in other countries, especially with soccer, that like maybe like I don't know who said it, if it was you, Sean, or David, but like I think it was you, David. They watch this game be like really fun and entertaining just because you know because they care. Because I mean, they get another game and they get to show their fans. I don't know, one more opportunity to get a win.
And it doesn't mean a whole lot for us, I guess, in the end. But saying you came in third, bronze medal, means sounds a whole hell of a lot better than coming in fourth. So, and these games, that game still matters in the aspect of I mentioned earlier, world ranking. It still matters, and I know it's 3 versus 4, but if England wins, they're going to 3. It means something. There's some sort of a chip because they're going to play each other probably in the next year, and they'll be like, "Hey, we beat you." They go and it's the momentum thing. It can go from match to match. We definitely saw that with Spain, France. Spain having beat them multiple times in a row. It's like, oh yeah, we've seen them. We don't care that they're on a heater. We know them. We can beat them. It's kind of the same thing. It's the same momentum that you get rolling in. Um, yeah, so I'm going to take France, though. I think they're a little bit better. Let's go into the game, the big game, though, on Sunday, happening in New Jersey, Argentina, Spain. Historically, let me pull this back up, make sure I don't say it wrong. Historically, they have met up with each other 14 times. It is 6 Argentina wins, six Spain wins, and 2 draws. Therefore, we are right down the middle here. And my computer is frozen, so I will tell you in a second the last time they faced off, but it was a friendly. But I don't have the date in front of me. James, who do you got in this matchup?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this like the entire podcast and even like after Argentina came back and won. And yeah, I'm like with both you guys. Like I really want to pick Spain, but then there's part of me who's like Argentina. I know last podcast we compared them to like the Chiefs, and like I don't know. It's like, do I go with like the smart pick of Spain, or do I go with the pick who it's like they're like the cockroach and they just won't die. I almost want to flip a coin. I'm just gonna go Spain, I guess, just because I doubted them before, and I know defense wins championships is not a soccer pun and not an idiom in like world football. It's more of an American football basketball saying, but well, we kind of started using it, and I'm gonna use it and just say that defense wins championships. And if Spain can get one, maybe two goals, it's gonna be a little harder for Argentina to score against that Spanish defense than any of the previous teams they've played. So, yeah, I'm sure I'll come back with something more to say in a little bit, but I'm just gonna go to Spain for now.
Watching Spain, the way they played in that 2010 World Cup, I feel like was hugely impactful for me as a young soccer fan. And Spain had basically become the team I would root for after the United States. I'm always rooting for them to win. I really enjoyed watching them play. That said, I think I've picked against Argentina in every single knockout round so far. So I think I'm going to give them the kiss of death and pick Argentina to win this game because I'm tired of being wrong. And let's get on the right side of history here. And it's Messi. This is a young Spanish team. I'm not going to say they're not going to be ready for the moment, but it just feels like destiny at this point. Seeing the tears the eyes of those Argentina guys today, that group, getting back to a second final and back-to-back World Cups is so difficult. I don't recall off the top of my head the last time that's happened, but I feel like it really, really does not happen often, especially in this day and age. In every sport, the talent disparity is so much tighter than it's ever been. Like there are so many teams, if you just look down the list, that you would have said had better odds than Argentina to be here right now. And even though Argentina had maybe an easy path at certain times, a lot of those teams they played, we're just looking at their FIFA World ranking. It's not an accurate measure of what's happening on the field sometimes. Cabo Verde is arguably a top 10 team in this tournament. You look back to their opening round draw to Spain, and we took that as a shot against Spain instead of a holy crap, this Cabo Verde team's really good, which it turned out was actually the truth. So as great as Spain played, I don't want to say that's fool's gold. I don't know that they're going to be able to replicate that game against France just because I just think they played as well as they could possibly play. And this time they have to do it against Messi. And we've seen what happens when Argentina's trailing, and I don't think I would bet against them at this point. I have to ride the wave. Let's get on the right side of history. This thing's happening. I think I just have to accept it.
I mean, it's a true toss-up. I'm going to really much just say exactly what James said there. It's a true toss-up. I mean, it can go either way. I'm going to take... Man, both of them seem wrong. It doesn't matter which way you go. It feels like I'm going to get it wrong. I'll go... It's really hard betting against a team that hasn't lost in 2.5 years and has looked so dominant in this tournament. I think I'm going to take Spain. I think I would rather see Argentina win just from the aspect of, I think from a storyline standpoint, with Messi and everything like that, winning back-to-back would be just an incredible story. It would really solidify the fact that he truly is the greatest and all that. I just think Spain wins. It's just too good a team. The defense aspect, the fact that there's, they've allowed one goal all tournament. I know Messi's great. I know he creates so much magic and so much offense, but it's just this defense is that good. I could see a very, to the American audience, an unappealing match, something that is very tactical and very, very strategized in a way. Beautiful soccer for the rest of the world. We may see it as going to be like a 0-0, to the 90th minute type situation, but it's going to be, in my opinion, a very, very good watch for high-level soccer viewers. And the speed of the game I expect to be at an untested level. I'm going to go Spain. And I feel more confident saying 1.5 billion people will watch it.
One thing I just thought of, if in that England game with Argentina, I feel like if we're comparing Messi to LeBron, England was Andre Iguodala and just got swatted at the rim.
Yeah.
If this is Messi's last game, it's been an honor. Who knows what's happening here? This is why these ticket prices are so outrageous. I'm sure they're billing it as such.
Yeah.
And would anybody be that shocked if he gets to go out with his second World Cup and he just retired on the spot? I mean, can you think of anything more perfect?
David, he's got to go win that MLS Cup with Inter Miami. It's more important.
Forgot about that.
He's got to recruit Zlatan out of retirement.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I don't have anything to say. That's all I got.
I just hope it's a really fun match. I mean, I think the three of us are all pretty damn big sports fans, so I think we can find the fun in something. I mean, it's like, if you're a casual baseball fan, pitchers duels aren't fun. The three of us probably would really enjoy pitchers duels. And basketball, like defensive games, low scoring. In today's day and age, it doesn't seem like it happens that much anymore, but you do see it a little more in the playoffs in the NBA. So yeah, I mean, goals are fun. It's like chicks dig homers, like people dig goals, I guess. But yeah, if Spain's playing their game, it's such a. I mean, like I can't think of any other word than like beauty or beautiful. Like it's just tactically well put together soccer that just looks so fun to watch.
I think a perfect final is one where we don't have a controversial penalty, VAR is lightly used, and we get one game-winning, match-winning goal that is, one to remember, one that we can just pull off the top of our head for years. You don't always get it, but when you do, it's just having that one iconic memory that we can take away from the World Cup would be cool.
Well, and I hope it's Messi, because then he gets his golden boot.
Messi, but,
Yeah, everyone hopes it's Messi, but
yeah, to win the golden boot on top of that would be quite something.
Well, before we sign off here, I guess I'll pose the most important question of the stream. Did everyone see Holland take home a raccoon?
I did.
yeah, why is that news?
It wasn't that news. What do you mean?
Ashley just destroyed the Today Show for bringing that up. She was like, "Why do I care about this?" And I was like, "You love Holland," and she's like, "I do," and now that he has the raccoon, I don't.
It was funny because when I first saw the photo, like I think so many others, they had to do a double take because the raccoon looked quite alive and quite real, and I was like, "Oh
What was it
damn!
holding?
What
A
did he?"
Jack Daniels bottle?
Yeah, it's like a special wine or something, and it comes with the wine. Apparently, he's got a whole collection of these things. So,
Of course he does.
Yeah, Holland's a weird dude.
but
That's when you know you come from a country where half the year you get like 3 hours of sunlight.
it's also a good sign of I'm making $80 million a year, and I'm 25 years old.
Yeah,
It'll
that
be
too.
interesting to see what he does with his fame, whether he stays kind of the same kind of goofball he is, or what happens down the road. But I think he's got a lot more eyes on him right now than he ever has. So I think it's going to be interesting.
I predicted in 10 years he's playing for some MLS team in Dallas.
I mean, he's already a draw.
Yeah, sometime during his 30s, I bet you he makes his way over here.
Welcome to the Houston Dynamo.
Dallas FC.
Yeah. All right.
He got Kygo to remix a song for him. Fellow Norwegian DJ.
All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we log off here?
That's all I got. It's been fun talking
Yeah.
World Cup. sad to see it end.
Yeah, now what are we going to do?
Women's
Years.
World Cup's a year from now. U.S. actually has a chance.
It's true.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. So, well, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up, guys. I guess next episode, maybe we'll do a recap episode of the World Cup. We'll see how we feel next week. If not, football is soon. Basketball is soon. Baseball has been playing. WNBA just doesn't know how to get it right. But we'll talk about all that later on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy this weekend of soccer. See you all soon.